Okay, here's that stack. Let's, in no particular order. I didn't even take time to put it in order because it doesn't need to be. I'm just going to give you excerpts. Dana Milbank, Washington Post, in the tank for every Democrat president, particularly Obama. And by the way, folks, I need to add a codicil, if you will, to the Limbaugh theorem. Because I'm pretty sure that one of the reasons the media are worried is that they think the Democrats might not win control of Congress in the midterms. I think they're beginning to face that. They've thought it's been in the tank. They thought that it's been a fait accompli, winning the House in 2014. And I think they're beginning to think that that's not going to happen. And here's the thing. Since demonizing the GOP over guns and the sequester has not worked, they're now getting worried. Demonizing the Republicans over guns and the sequester was supposed to pave the way for winning the House in 2014. And demonizing the Republicans on guns and the sequester has not worked. That's why they had to start messing around with the air traffic controllers and creating flight delays and canceling the White House tours. So part and parcel of this whole stack, part and parcel of all these guys expressing their concern, I think, is the media pushing Obama to be more aggressive. And that means, since Congress refuses to act on so much of his agenda, that he needs to bypass them again and start issuing even more executive orders. That's the subtext of this Milbank article. I think what they're doing, sometimes the press just doesn't sit there when their guy is screwing up and say, okay, he's screwing up. They try to fix it for him. And they saw a guy not even there yesterday. They saw a guy not even interested. They saw a guy that looked like he didn't want to be there, and that really worries them. So I think all of these stories today about how rotten he was yesterday, all these stories about how scared everybody is, how detached he was, he's supposed to hear about this and say, oh, yeah, watch this, and get back in gear. I think that's the purpose of all of these stories. Because, trust me, they're not really having a falling out with the guy yet. They're not giving up on him. They just want it to look that way to spur him into action. Dana Milbank. It's never a good sign for a president when he feels compelled to assure the public that he still has a pulse. That's the unbelievable position Obama was in yesterday morning when he held a news conference in the White House briefing room, faced a profusion of questions about the stalled pieces of his legislative program. Back in 1995, Bill Clinton assured Americans he was still relevant. This may be the first time a president asserted he was still alive. By the way, some of you may have forgotten, that whole thing of Clinton in 1995 asserting he was relevant was because I was saying he had become irrelevant. And it didn't take long, just a couple of days. This was after the Republicans won the House in 94. The health care thing was on the way down the tubes, and the Republicans owned it at the time. They hadn't screwed it up yet. And I was talking about how irrelevant Clinton was. And he went out and he had a press conference. I am still relevant. I am still the president of the United States. I am still here in this White House. I still have the bully pulpit. No, he didn't reference me. But nobody else was calling him irrelevant. I was the only one who was. And he trots out that I am still relevant. I'm still a president of the United States. I'm still here in the bully pulpit. I have all this. I'm still in the White House, blah, 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 Oval Office. 100 days into his second term, Obama has already lost control of the agenda, if he ever had control in the first place. He ricocheted through his news conference, as he has through his presidency recently, between issues and crises not of his choice. This is the Limbaugh theorem in action in his press conference. I think it's funny how so many in the media are dancing around that point. They're trying to come up with other explanations to account for his performance yesterday. But if you look for the simplest theory to explain a phenomenon, you have to admit the Limbaugh theorem is the best explanation. What is that? That his fingerprints are not going to be on anything, that he doesn't even appear to be governing, that he's still an outsider, he's still campaigning. All these things going wrong have nothing to do with him and his agenda about fixing all this stuff. That's what he's maintaining. That's what the constant campaign is. That's what his position press conference was. Yeah, Boston. Nothing to do with it. People in Boston did a great job after the fact. Oh yeah, Syria. Well, the State Department dealing with that, and Benghazi. Well, the State Department, Hillary, they did it with that. 15-year-old girls in birth control. Well, talk to Kathleen Sebelius. I mean, he's literally, folks, is attaching himself to nothing, and that's what they noticed yesterday. Ron Fournier in the National Journal. Obama channels Clinton's worst day in office, raises doubts about relevancy. In this piece, Fournier does his best to help Obama, even if he doesn't understand the strategy. Here's a sample from his article. As much as we'd like to believe otherwise, a president's powers to fix problems are limited. That's certainly the case on an issue such as Syria, where Obama has no good options. Remember all the times that Ron Fournier wrote things like that about Bush's options being limited? Never. But with Obama, his options are limited. He doesn't have a whole lot he can do. Fournier even regrets in this piece Obama doesn't have Superman powers. He writes, well, he can't turn back time to stop the Boston Marathon bombings. Even to be sure the federal investigators did all they could to prevent it, he can't do anything about it. Most disgustingly of all, at the end of this news article, Fournier, I don't know, seems to be yearning for a tragic event like Clinton got with the OKC bombing that the media can rally around to save Obama's president. Folks, I'll go through this whole thing, but I'm telling you, I cannot emphasize enough, the media yesterday with that press conference, and most of the country didn't see it this way. Most of the country didn't see it. But they did. They were there. And I'm telling you, they think it was a disaster yesterday. They're petrified. They're worried that Obama's lost interest. He doesn't care anymore. Every story in this stack. Here's a treatment from the Newsbusters website, and it's a Glenn Thrush story at the Politico. And the original headline on Glenn Thrush's first story was Obama, hey guys, I'm still here, and they changed it to hey guys, I'm still relevant. President Barack Obama marking the 100th day since he delivered an ambitious inaugural address, brimming with expansive plans, sparred with the White House press over a succession of issues over which he has conspicuously clipped control. From his response to the game-changer revelation that Syrian government forces use sarin gas, to the failure of his gun control push, to his continued efforts to shutter Gitmo, Obama, who seemed a lot less lighthearted during his stand-up routine at the White House Correspondents Association dinner on Saturday. They loved that, but this guy seemed totally detached, very, very worried. Paul Bedard, D.C. Examiner, a revealing new book from one of the media's longest-serving White House correspondents reports that Obama surrounds himself only with idolizers, and top aides make sure that those whose views might shake him up too much are shoved aside. The author, Walsh, called top Chicago aide Valerie Jarrett one of the leading idolizers who blocks access of critics to her boss. Jarrett has gone too far in limiting others' access to the president, according to a number of White House congressional sources, says Walsh in the book, which due out June 1st. Her goal is to keep Obama in a cocoon of admirers who will not shake him up too much or present views that... What we've got here is a king And nobody dares tell him anything that what they think he wants to hear. And he gets an entirely jaundiced, like he thinks Obamacare has been implemented. I'm sure they are telling him it's going great. What this book is saying is nobody's got the guts to go in there and tell him what's going wrong. Think Game of Thrones and King Joffrey. The little 19-year-old kid or 16-year-old kid, whatever he is. That kid's a good actor. You hate his guts watching that show, right, Snurdly? Democrat pollster Peter Hart told Walsh that Obama's more a performer than a seasoned politician. Yeah, he likes performing. He likes the crowd, said the pollster. But Obama's White House is too distant from people in Congress who can help him. He's closed off. He's insular. He's shut out. John Carl, Mr. President, you're 100 days into your second term. The gun bill, you did everything you could to get it passed, but it didn't. Congress is ignoring your efforts to try to get an undo of the sequester. There's even a bill that you threatened to veto that had 92 Democrats in the House voting yes. My question to you is, do you still have the juice to get the rest of your agenda through Congress? And the president said, well, if you put it that way, John, maybe I just ought to pack up and go home. Now that, folks, is that is a degree of sensitivity that you don't expect in presidents. Presidents are confident. They're egocentric. You can't shake them. Well, if you're going to ask me, all right, maybe I'll just take the ball and go home, and then you see what happens. All right, that's what I'll do. Maybe I just ought to leave. Well, make you happy, right, John? Make you happy, I'll get out of here. That's what he's thinking. He's livid that this little toad in the press corps would dare challenge his achievements and competence. Well, I'll tell you what, I'll just leave, and then we'll see what happens. Huh? Very, very strange out there. And then there's this botched Obamacare rollout tops Democrat fears for 2014. That goes along with the Kaiser Family Foundation story on 42% don't even know it's a law of the land. Now, folks, don't misunderstand. I am not at all saying that Obama's finished and his agenda's nothing. I'm not. Don't misunderstand. What I'm telling you is the press is scared of that. They didn't like what they saw yesterday. This is what they saw yesterday. He's not the guy they elected. He's not the guy they believe in. They're worried. And they're trying to goose him to get back in the game.